I think we all have started with the expectation of CEOs, and then AI somewhere enters in between. And AI is still playing a very important role in our life today, not as a CFO, maybe as an individual today. I think he asked a question that who all have used ChatGPT. But I personally believe that we might have used it, but not for the professional things, maybe for some few professional things today, not for personal things today. And the reason behind that, we are still the CFOs from the core of our heart. And we don't use things which we don't know whether it is good for the organization today or not. That is the most important thing beyond it. And as he said, we are at the bottom of development of AIs, and that is most important. I think Anis had set the ball for us, and we are the CFOs. Till the time it is there, we don't going to use it in detail to that. So I think that is in context of it. But still, apart from AI also, there is a lot of digital transformation which is happening today. And we are here to discuss about that, how those digital transformations are going to impact the role of the CFO, the financial function. So maybe I'll also start with few numbers. I think Anish has mentioned few numbers already. So 73% of global CFOs agrees that digitization of finance function is the priority. However, the pace of transformation is slower than overall business digital transformation, finance transformation. So point is that we all know that digital transformation is happening. We are using data, we are using data analytics, we are using a lot of digital transformation activities in different side of the business. But in finance still, it's there, but it's not there. So I think it will take some time to reach there. Another very good note which I always mention, I think few of already know who attended with me earlier as well. There's one book called Humans and Machines came in 2018 in Boston. And Mr. Doughty and Wilson has mentioned that AI systems are not wholesale replacing us. AI systems are not wholesale replacing us. Rather, they are amplifying our skills and collaborating with us to achieve productivity gains that have previously not been possible. I think it's a very deep line to understand what it exactly says that, when we started using AI, we thought we'll be replaced. And I'll give you a few references as well, where people started thinking that we will lose our jobs. But I think that is very true that it cannot replace human things. What it can replace is maybe some activities which maybe we investing our time into it and may not able to get the productivity which we want. So I think what it is doing right now is enhancing our productivity and able to achieve those performance growth which we really wanted to. So just to give few references more, a BBC report in 2015 says that automation risk for the chartered and certified accountant was 95.3%. It was 2015. Then in 2017, a PwC report says it has reduced to 61% in March 2017. And in April 2017, there is a report from McKinsey. It says it has reduced to 12%. That means in a way we are growing and understanding that whether it is really taking our jobs or enhancing our role in the organization. I think we've discussed about it, the expectation of the CEOs. So that is where it is coming from, that we have to keep growing ourselves. We have to learn it. We have to use it in our process automations so that we can really achieve the goals of the organization. So the role and time utilization of finance is moving from data collection, data processing towards applying expertise, managing stakeholder interactions, and managing others. I think that is the most important thing which I've referred in my earlier session as well. That we were used to be saying that data mangao, data collect karo, usko analyze karo, report do. Those has gone. This has been done by digitization today. What we have to do is applying our expertise to understand the data, managing our stakeholders, and then managing the relationship with the outer world. So we are coming out of our rooms. We are coming out of our scope right now. So I think there is one important question which came to my mind always is what technology is doing to us. Anybody want to add to it? Maybe any of the panelists if want to add to it. Anything you want to say? What technology is doing to us? Karishma, if you want to add.
Sure. So thanks, Gaurav. Well set context. I think technology, as you said, is supposed to simplify our lives as professionals, whether it is a finance professional or it is any function for that matter. So it is supposed to reduce a lot of mundane activities, reduce the working hours for us, and use those same hours for a better value addition to the business. I think
Yeah, I think Karishma, you said it right, you know, and there is a book written answer again, which I want to bring in front of you because I keep reading and keep want to bring that knowledge to you guys. It says the question is itself is wrong. Technology is not doing anything to us. Technology is a tool. This is true whether it's a hammer or deep neural network. Tool doesn't decide what happened to the people, rather, we decide. The lesson we have learned from our experience over our career is that while technology creates an option, success depends how people take advantage of these options. So I think that is what we have to learn about, that it is not going to replace us. It is creating an option for us to make it success. The success of a venture almost never turns on how much technology it uses. There are many organizations which is using a lot of technologies, but how its people use that technology and on what values they imbue in the organization. I think that is a core behind it, and that is a question that how successfully we'll able to use those technology is important for us. So let us start discussion with our experts here. I think they can add a lot of value to us. So the first question for you, Karishma, is since we all know that the role of the CFOs is evolving in the light of digital transformation, I would like to ask you how CFO can transition from traditional financial reporting to the strategic guidance, predictive analytics. What strategies do you find most effective in driving cultural change within finance function during transformation efforts? So I think this is the primary question for you.
Sure. Thank you, Gaurav. Hello, everyone. I think you've set good, the ball rolling through the morning today on how finance can actually set transformation as an agenda. And moving from traditional to strategic CFOs, and all our audiences would mostly agree is it requires a lot of mindset change, the first and foremost thing. It is not only about a CFO's mindset change, but also organizational mindset change, finance functions mindset change, as well as cross-functional teams change in thinking of how they perceive the CFO and the finance function. And to make it happen, there are two major pieces. One is the tools and technology, and the other is capability. Both need to be developed hand in hand to make this shift happen from a traditional CFO to a strategic CFO. In addition to that, I think the way financial planning and reporting, that's what you asked. So the old, methods were doing past performance analysis, reporting numbers, preparing numbers, and with this digital transformation coming in, there is a lot of work to do with interpretation of numbers. Let the machine do the crunching and the presentation part. I was going through a recent session, Gaurav, and there is a lot of trending workshops where there are young chaps who are doing sessions and they're showing how tools can be used by finance professional. And he was showing some technology that with a click of a button, in 2 seconds, you create dashboards. In 2 seconds, you create a PPT, and in 2 seconds, you create something else. So why not leverage technology? That's the role of finance, to drive it in the function, to leverage technology in making those reports and dashboards, and using the time in analyzing it, interpreting it for the business, not just for financial planning and reporting, but also for a lot of decision making in terms of predictive modeling. I've personally used predictive modeling a lot in earlier organizations as well, where the forward-looking forecast based on geographical household data, you use technology, and that's what a strategic CFO has to move to, not just in terms of number crunching. And all this will also come through a lot of changes in the way organization looks at the training for the finance function per se, because we should not limit ourselves to technical trainings, but also upgrade ourselves to digital training and building those capabilities.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you are the one who raised hand when he says that whether the predictions of the future budgeting is it difficult or not. I think you said no. Okay. So yeah, I think I want Anurag also to add to it that what strategies do you find most effective in driving the cultural change? I think that is a very critical question, because you might change yourself, but you have to bring a derivation towards a culture itself so that it can change. So if you can add to it.
Sure, Gaurav. And I completely agree what Karishma mentioned. In fact, in today's world, we are seeing that most of our finance functions and operation functions are still focusing on descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics. क्या हुआ, क्यों हुआ? I think what is important here that how we can actually leverage technology and focus our finance team on predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics. What is predictive analytics? क्या होगा और उसको करने के लिए क्या करना होगा और क्या achieve होगा, right? That is very important thing, and in fact, Gaurav also rightly mentioned in his discussion that most of the CEOs are actually looking from the CFOs that how we can move from the diagnostic analytics to the predictive and prescriptive analytics. वो काम तो मेरा कंट्रोलर भी कर लेगा, नंबर क्रंचिंग है, डीप डाइव एनालिसिस है, कंट्रोलर्स कर सकते हैं, सीएफओस को आगे नंबर बताना है कि Q3 में क्या नंबर आएगा, हाउ विल आई क्लोज माय Q4, what is my top line, what is the kind of growth I am looking, what is the kind of bottom line, my adjusted EBITDA, my profitability will get delivered to the investors. This is something which is very important from the CFO standpoint. The most important play and lever is the culture, because culture is something which plays a very critical role in the entire transformation of finance and also the digital transformation. And from a practical experience, I can tell you this thing, that most of the digital transformations fails because of the resistance of change in people. Right? How to overcome it? We have to think of, as a leader of finance, we have to think of that how can we revamp, and not only think of, how can we revamp our policies, processes, organizational framework, but we have to think of how we can change the mindset, attitude, value, and behavior of the people. And the most important part here is that whatever technology you implement, if the technology will not get properly adopted by the people, then we will not able to achieve the success. Adoption is a key. And how to overcome the adoption, we have to think of how we can train the people, develop the people, skill the people, so that people will start engaging in the kind of initiatives we are taking and make it success, make it happen. Another point I want to call out, that while we choose the technology, while we think of taking a decision which particular technology we have to go and adopt it or accept it, we always look forward for the very sophisticated technologies. We have to think of which kind of technology we should look for, flexible technology, agile technology, so that people can easily understand that, we can able to enhance it and actually change it basis of the business need, keep on changing on a day-on-day basis. This is what I want to.
Thanks, Anurag. I think you again bring us to the right point that the cultural change is coming from the mindset. And the mindset of the people have to change first, and then only we can bring in the cultural change and within the organization. I think moving to the next question for Sachin, probably. You know, Sachin, business process improving across board with the use of AI. We all know that. Sachin, we would like to understand how AI enables CFOs to streamline and optimize business processes across entire organization, with maybe some examples from your business if you want to put across, and if you can.
Yeah, sure. See, AI today has actually advanced across all the industries, and the AI adoption offers a lot of compelling advantages to all of us. Some of the advantages which we see from AI adoption are, it boosts efficiency, we can sort of digitize the manual tasks which are being done, which are physical tasks, which is digitalization of records, which is physical tasks, handling operations, handling quality control parameters. So all those are now getting digitized and effective usage with the use of AI. It also eliminates a lot of human errors which used to happen, because dependability on people is being reduced. It helps us in faster decision making, the speed with which we are making the decisions, because now we are no more dependent upon humans. The machines themselves are taking decisions, quick decisions, fast decisions. Another aspect is AI is also helping us in fraud detection. It analyzes the pattern of the transactions and flags if there are any concerning transactions which are there. So these are some of the broad benefits which we are realizing from the AI usage. But before I get into the use cases which we are using in our company and organization, let just briefly touch base what exactly AI is. AI, we all understand that it is the algorithm which is being designed to work in a way which humans are working. So we have technologies like machine learning, we have deep learning. Machine learning is helping us in predictions using past historical data, classifying the data based on the heterogeneous pattern of the data. And also it is taking, machines themselves are taking decisions by taking some actions in the environment, and they're learning with the experience and improving day by day. Another aspect which is, we say deep learning, is using neurons like the human mind and solving some complex unstructured issues. So we have analyzed that how AI is working and use the same in our business. So what we did and how we are using is, we have analyzed how these advantages can be used in our business. So actually we are a B2B indirect procurement platform, and we are dealing with large number of SKUs, around 2 lakh SKUs we have. And every day we have to create a lot of new SKUs. So first of all, we have leveraged the AI for the part number creation itself. It's a very basic task, very mundane task, a lot of effort is required. Based on the part description, the categorization happens of the part, and then basis that, the repeatability, that there is no duplication, because duplication is also an issue, gets addressed with the AI usage. Then on the procurement side, we are using it for sourcing. Uh, when we are placing purchase orders to our various suppliers, AI suggests us based on the share of business, based on the past prices which they had, based on the delivery adherence, and recommends which vendors we have to place the orders. And the best advantage which we have been able to leverage using AI is on the customer side. While we are making quotations to our customers, AI helps us in recommending the margins which we have to charge to customers. So it fluctuates. It fluctuates based upon the customer, category, and the past win ratio of the business. How we have been able to convert those quotations into the business. So it's very acting in a very smart way to recommend us the margins. It has helped us actually in improving our margins in many of the categories. So these are the broad few things which we have used. We are also using AI in multiple things, like small examples like emails which come for the customer escalations or whatever. So they are also being categorized by AI and get into reports that how many escalations are there, how they are being getting addressed, and how much time frame they are getting. So we have not to do any more manual tasks in relation to tracking those, whether reports have gone to the customers, whether there are some escalations. So these are few examples where we have leveraged. And also to add to it, inventory management, it has helped us in big way in inventory management by predicting that what sort of minimum levels, maximum levels, delivery time from the various vendors, what are the delivery times which require to be delivered to the customers. Also on the logistics side, when we have to deliver to customers, it helps us in recommending which orders to be clubbed and brings a lot of efficiency. So these are few examples where we have worked, and it is really helping us in big way in practical terms in leveraging the advantages of AI.
Yeah, Sachin, thank you. I think, as I said, the context in the initial stage, that in many business aspects, it's been into it. But what about finance? If I can leverage about it to understand from your side, as you mentioned, logistics, SKUs, those all are business processes, obviously very linked to the finance.
Yeah.
But exactly, it's somewhere in finance also, it is contributing to your processes or, digitization method from AI side.
In finance, we have used it for more for analyzing the transactions. Actually, finance is, it's no more finance is that it's only an accounting. Actually, it impacts the business. So whatever I talked about related to sourcing, related to customer margins, it's all surrounding around the finance domain itself. So if we have to say very particular about the finance, it is about the prediction, the future forecast, depending upon the order book what we have in our hand, the margins. And AI also actually helps sometimes in the margin. It's not that it will use the historical margins itself. We have developed the algorithm in such a way that what are the best margins which we can realize, and based on that it gives the forecast. And then we compare it that what are the margins which have been suggested to us and what we have actually realized. Then we do YY, our finance teams do YY, that why we have not been able to. Then we identify the areas where we need to improve our operations.
That's absolute the answer I was expecting, because finance is no more accounting. Finance is more than that. So I think that is absolutely right. I'm not skipping this question to ask again to Mandeep the same one. Why? Because I think we belong to same industry, and the Policybazaar, if I'm not wrong, is a pioneer believing, bringing in something as in the insurance industry where you can go online and buy policy of different companies on the same platform. It was not there. We work in a very traditional form. Insurance industry is still on the backside. All the insurance company has started this because Policybazaar has started that. So, sir, Mandeep, I want to ask the same question to you. Want to understand that how, understand how AI enables CFOs to streamline and optimize business process, the CFOs, from a CFO perspective, across the entire organization, with maybe some examples from your business, because we cannot skip this answer, asking this answer from Policybazaar CFO, Group CFO.
Okay, first of all, good morning. As I think I mentioned earlier, anything happens in the business has a financial impact. So whatever you do for the business, you are doing for finance. Okay, that understanding. So other thing is that whatever you do for the customer, you are doing for business, and that's why you are doing for finance. So whatever you do for the customer, you are doing for finance. That's the equation. Starting from there, I think it's much more than that actually. We are just not a platform. What we do now is very complicated underwriting. Yep. And underwriting which is way better off than the insurer that they can do by themselves. The claim ratio difference between our portfolio and insurer's own portfolio is about 10%, right? Which is significant, you would understand from an insurance perspective. Why so? Because that we are the first point of the contact with customer. We get more information, first-hand information. B is that this is the only platform in the country where people come to buy. Otherwise, insurance is always sold. Somebody will come and try to sell you. But Policybazaar reaches out to you only if you come and register your interest, which means you are a genuine customer and your intent to disclose more is there. So the quality of business is different. On top of it, we have deployed cutting edge AI, the stuff that you can call of the future right now on our platform, which basically detect liveliness, whether there's a photograph, whether there's a video, same person speaking, somebody else is speaking, same phone number, same location, etc. So many things we do deploy that are the underwriting score that we give is a score which is asked by the insurer now, and they tend to rely on our score more than their own underwriting, right? So this is the power of AI, and that's why this pulls the business in a very different trajectory, right? Now the other question was like, the processes in finance, etc. Well, before I say something, let me just give you a little background, the context, why I'm saying so. So in my previous organization, we started some journey about 7 years back, now 10 years back. It took us about 6 years, and after 6 years, this was nominated best finance team in the country by Business World itself. And then this team started to get the best use of technology awards in every forum. And I left the company. Even after that, for three consecutive years, they're getting the same. Now, having said that, now what I'm going to say is slightly different. I assume the population is generally 40 under 40, right? Okay. So I assume 50 or 60% of your time would be going into transaction processing, reporting, dashboarding, making sure the number is right and on time, right? Can I make that assumption? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So what we started to realize, and we also started with a big statement saying that, okay, OCR, artificial intelligence, kuch aisa karna chahiye. To our surprise, robotics we started with, and to our surprise, we realized that the OCR technology is not, till date is not, cannot give you 100% accuracy. If you get 70% accuracy, you are in a very good shape. 30% is there, which means you can't rely. Now, I get to know that about it has reached about 80%. The reason is that you get GST invoice that you can scan, no problem, structured, but kacha bill, you cannot scan. And mutilated, etc., etc. There are so many reasons the OCR doesn't work. And we also deployed robotics, and there's a very interesting case study. Probably it will take some time, but this is something for you guys to understand how this can change your world. Robotics also has a cost, and this cost-benefit analysis of robotics doesn't justify unless until your transaction is about 15,000 transactions a day. If you don't have that volume, the robotics investment will not yield you the cost-benefit analysis. Maybe it is more accurate, but in India, you can, manage it through some other ways as well. The realization we have is that the 90% of the automation is not technically difficult and not rocket science. Simple, pure macros, stitching it through the workflows, sign-offs, does the thing wonderfully, right? And we did that. Every year for last about 5-6 years, we have been doing about 40 to 50 automations within finance by the finance folks. They learned how to do macros, etc., Visual Basic kind of stuff. So much so, one of the undergraduate, or rather he was a graduate only, the guy who was doing a basic data entry started, we were kind of promoting our staff to learn more. He started to take YouTube videos on developing robotic process. And we had a license of, I think, UiPath. UiPath was a... And he started to deploy robotics on our data in our company and did it successfully. Saved about 3 days of work and within, I think, about 3 minutes, where he has to go put in password, put each item into a particular list, upload it, government data, etc. He did it. He called his friends, figured out how to do it, but this became a case study saying that robotics is not only IT guys for it. It can be done by anyone. And then we started training more guys in finance. They become our citizen developers. And we started to export the talent, saying that anybody in the company require robotics, come to us, right? This is the power of what you can do. Unfortunately, the investment in finance, this is also CFO's job to do a capital allocation, right? So when you have AI, or AI is the wrong word, so automation agenda, which gives you better return if you deploy that rupee in sales or in customer services, you will not deploy that in finance because this is your process, right? So ROI in finance is something that you will struggle with. You will not get huge amount of budgets, trust me, right? अगर कोई SAP लगाता है, SAP लगाता है, Oracle लगाता है, वो भी तभी लगाता है जब इन्वेस्टर का प्रेशर आता है या फिर बिजनेस में बहुत कुछ गलत हो चुका होता है, because this is a significant investment. Otherwise 3-4 करोड़ का बजट किसी को नहीं मिलता. 3-4 कम है, ये ज़्यादा लेते हैं असल में. यही बैठे. So big bang investment and large scale agenda spanning about 1 year, 2 years is not there. In our business, इतने में तो business पुराना हो जाता है. तो इतना लंबा तो हम सोच ही नहीं सकते. So you have to be quick, small pieces, modular, implement, move, implement another, move, implement another, and so on. Another aspect is that most of the automation and AI use cases that we are seeing is either an efficiency game or a customer experience game. There is no real AI game which is actually doing a decision making. Only categorization for customer experience. If a mail is coming, then it's sensing an intent and bucketing in a particular bucket, sending it to somebody to respond, etc. Those are all efficiency kind of a game. So I say that my basic philosophy is that we are still at a very, very low level of automation, and there's much to do even without bothering about the sophisticated technologies like AI, ML. For example, we don't talk about blockchain. It's surprising. This technology has much more use cases as well as potential than AI. But we have not reached there. But thankfully, we are on the right path. We'll reach there at some point of time.
Thanks, Mandeep. I think you put the right light on the right side of the AI and blockchain, as you mentioned just now. So I think you're absolutely right. We are not there as of now for the use cases. But yeah, whether it really help in decision making, as you said, it may improve efficiency, but with efficiency, it may also generate few information for you, which can help you in taking decision making. We don't want that decision making be done by on human. It has to be human only. So I think just to continue with that, very quickly want to ask, because we left with less time. So what are the potentials and limitations you see for AI in transforming financial planning analysis? Very quickly, if you want to refer limitation. I think potential, we already discussed a lot about it. But let us understand from limitation point of view as well from other CFOs also.
Okay, you specifically asked about financial planning and analysis, so I'll restrict there because this is too wider a subject to talk about. Most of the potential is in data analytics, not in AI. Right? Whatever we use this term very loosely, and that's why most of the data, centralized databases, and data analytics and predictive data analytics, we give credit to AI. It is not. It was there ages ago. It is here right now, and it will continue to be there. So the skills in terms of data analytics and the statistical analysis to predict, regression analysis, etc., it's there and it will be there. That's the 90% of the time you use in FP&A. You asked me a question. Now, please understand the new age companies don't do business planning. Don't believe in long range business planning, not even for 1 year business planning, because 1 year is too long actually. Right? It changes every week, every month. You can't plan. So, I mean, there's a different approach. But coming back to the generic FP&A limitations, see, the CFO job particularly is not interested only in what. They are also interested in how. ये नंबर आया तो आया कैसे? इसके पीछे क्या है? और कुछ नहीं होगा तो किसने बनाया है? Because there is a credibility attached to it. And AI is a black box, right? At least if there is intelligence, it is taking some decisions, some computation. So you want to understand, right, how it has come about, and how can I cross-verify it? How can I go back to this number and again, tick the boxes and improve the model? वो भी आजकल computer कर रहा है machine learning में, right? So this is a black box. The output is coming. Okay, let me just pass this question to you. Probably this will make clear the challenge. Autonomous 3-level car. It will be automatic driven car. Will you sit in it in Delhi? It's automatic. It's artificial intelligence. Will you sit in it? Okay. There is already progress made in surgeries being done by robots through AI. And there is a cardiac surgery in your family. Sorry, God forbid. ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए. But will you let that happen? So there is a trust issue. The technology will mature to a point where you will say कि हाँ यार ठीक है, जैसे Excel हो गया ना, अब Excel को कोई doubt नहीं करता. At some point of time, some part of the technology will mature to a level where you will say कि हाँ ठीक है, इसने बोल दिया तो ठीक है. And that's basically you deploy in your financial analysis कि आपका कोई reliable junior 3 quality check करके number लाता है तो आप ये पूछते हो तूने देख लिया? ठीक है फिर, मैं नहीं देख रहा. अब आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस पे आप ये कर पाओगे क्या? और गॉड फॉरबिड आप भी आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का आउटपुट देख रहे हो, उसके आपके जूनियर ने भी आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस से बनाया है, आप भी उसे आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस से ही चेक कर रहे हो. तो एक मज़ेदार दूसरी बात ये भी है, आज की डेट में तो ये कहते हैं जजमेंट एरर है, गलती हो गई, इससे हुई थी. अब आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को पॉइंट करके बोलोगे इससे हुई थी, तो बोलेगा अच्छा इसे चूज किसने किया था, इसे सिलेक्ट किसने किया था, इसे डिप्लॉय किसने किया था. So I think, as I keep saying, definitely it will mature, definitely it will reach somewhere, but not now. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि इसको खारिज कर दिया जाए, इसके बारे में सोचा ना जाए, बात ना की जाए. Keep experimenting, keep training your team a little bit on whatever the low-hanging fruit, simple technologies, छोटा-छोटा, right? जो बढ़िया प्यार से हो सके, ताकि लोगों का इंटरेस्ट बन सके, आप करते रहिए. तो I think these challenges will go away, but in terms of otherwise, in any case, you have to own the number. This is your choice whether you want to rely that number because this is coming from AI or it's coming done by AI, checked by somebody else, then you take it. This is also a manual tarika of AI.
No, I agree with you, Mandeep. I think you put the right point in right context, I think. What is important here to understand what Mandeep has said is that we have to start trusting. We have to understand how we're going to trust. And we have to understand how we're going to generate this trust. Because if we not reach to that level, we're not able to do it. But that is also very true. We are talking about India. And India is a country which, so for example, mobile, now everybody is holding mobiles with them. I think we have become the largest user of the mobile phone and smart mobile phones. And very quickly, बहुत लोगों ने बहुत पहले से शुरू किया था बहुत सारे countries में, but we were become the first one. UPI is a best example of it. We've thought that India जैसा country है जिसमें cash pay करना हमको पसंद है, but we are the only. I've traveled to European countries, a lot of countries. They don't have this UPI with them. They don't have this facility available with them, and they look at India to bring that technology to them, and that is the quality of India, and that is what we can do. So that is what I think about AI as well. If AI become the most usable thing in the world of finance, it should and it will start from India one day. He is right that we may take some time to bring it to our systems, but once we bring it, we'll become the leader in that, and that is how India works, in past as well, and we probably do it in the same thing. You want to add?
Just 30 seconds to bring in a point on use of AI in finance. Imagine a world, can you give your checkbook or a bank password to AI to make automatic payments? If that happens and there is a deep fake video coming, deep fake authorization coming, the money will go out, right? But what you can do, and in fact we have done in my past organization which won the award, 500 रुपए 500 रुपए में क्या है? Limited transaction per user, 500 रुपए, कोई approval नहीं, cut payment. So those small kind of risk, and then you do a post audit. सही गया था, गलत गया था, कहाँ tweak करना है? So those small, you have to basically figure out your approach. How will you reach there? What kind of risk you can take without hampering the organization and still prove and gain trust in the models?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, but just to put on light, I think we are already doing it for a long time in SAP. We all know that SAP is something which we already trusted, and once we trusted, we are doing it. Printing of checks, transfer of payments, everything has been done, managed by that, with the payment terms and everything been uploaded into it. But yeah, AI, outsourced AI, different AI, small companies who don't use SAP, whether we can do it today or not, that's still a question on that. I think just wrapping up it up, I think they already said the time is up. So let us close the things with a last point with all the CFOs here. What I want to ask is, the strategic leadership in the digital age. If you can further put some light on essential strategic leadership skills of CFO need to thrive in digital transformation. We can start with Karishma and then move to all the CFOs sitting here, just to close the discussion here.
Sure. So in terms of the skill set, we've spoken earlier also, and I think the most important is data-driven function, tech savviness, because if we keep on only believing in Excel and we do not want to upgrade into automation or into data transformation, then it is very difficult to move into digital transformations. And other than that, I think the third most important piece is also building a lot of learning culture in the organization. That's a skill set development that is needed. Over to you.
Yes, Sachin, you want
Yeah,
to
I
add
would like
to
to
it?
add. So I think the primary role which CFO need to play is drive what the organization objectives are, goals are, visions are into technology innovation. Because see, we have to be at a forefront in leading and adapting the innovation which is happening. So if we will not be driving it in a fast manner, we'll be lagging behind our competition. So we need to create a culture of innovation and also taking some risk. We need to make sometimes investment and also fail fast. So we have to develop the appetite of taking risk and promote our teams that take some calculated risks. We have not to be wasting our money, but sometimes taking calculated risks helps in building what we want to achieve, and it's basically an investment for the future. So CFO has to inculcate that culture, promote, and also challenge that how we can leverage the technology, create that environment so that everybody start thinking in an innovative way.
Yeah, I think learning, innovation, adaptability to innovation, and the calculation of the risk. You want to add to it, Anurag?
Sure. I think Sachin and Karishma has largely covered all the points, but as a CFO, I think what is also important to understand on day one, that what could be the tangible and intangible benefits we are bringing on table. Because while Mandeep also touched upon the kind of investments and taking the approval for the investments, it becomes very difficult for the CFO most of the time to go and ask the budget for himself कि मेरे फंक्शन में मुझे इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है ERP या मुझे टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन लेकर आना है, उसके लिए हाउ कैन आई गो एंड आस्क फॉर द बजट, बिकॉज we have allocated 100% of our budget for our operations, for our business, and for everyone in the organization. So tangible, intangible benefits, something CFO should definitely look for. Secondly, CFO should definitely think of that one goal they wanted to achieve, which should be aligning with the organizational goal and objectives, what Sachin also mentioned. I completely resonate with that. That is very important. Otherwise, it would be difficult to have a discussion on technology in the boardroom. The third is, definitely, I think Karishma already spoke about change management. We have to start thinking how to start involving people, train people, skill people, so that adoption should not be an issue. Everyone should be supportive enough in terms of making this happen and be successful.
Thanks, Anurag. I think we've all covered. If you want to add, Mandeep, anything left according to you?
Well, I mean, probably we have to take 5 minutes because there's something which hit me hard yesterday, need to be shared. But before that, curiosity, time management, risk-taking ability. And this is I learned hard way, that we generally try to be very, very sure before making an investment. In new age businesses, you have to take bet like a gambler, right? तीन पत्ती, like you know, gambler तो एकदम ही खेलता है, तीन पत्ती में कम से कम कार्ड होते हैं आपके पास, right? And the fourth one is people above, on your peers as well as your team, people skill. These are four. Now, what I wanted to basically tell, and this is coming from your comment saying that whether the technology will, you know, replace people or not. And yesterday, this realization happened to me. Well, I mean, basics, the total fertility rate in a country, if it is below 2, the population halves or reduces in 2 generation. 2 generation cycle is about 40 years, right? This is about demographic dividend that we are reaping right now, which means that this is finite. This is not unlimited. At some point of time, it will taper off. The prediction of economists is that within 10 years, India will reach to a peak of its working population age bracket, and after that, decline will start happening. Negative growth will happen. So maybe it's a story of about 20 years when this will start happening. So what will happen when the population shrinks? Working population shrinks. It doesn't reduce the consumption as much. It doesn't reduce the requirement of the economy. It basically, the technology take place of the people. It start to aid reduction in population by efficient use of the population, by bringing innovation, and that's where the technology plays a part, which means it's not a threat, but it's something to be mastered. And why I'm saying so, because the realization I had is that this is where we are at a stage where this will not impact us, this will impact our kids, right? The people who have joined our team just now, it will impact them in 10 years. That's where your responsibility as a leader, as well as parents, is to make sure that these people are trained on technology reasonably. That's the point.
Please, Anurag.
I'll also add, Mandeep, in fact, I think we spoke a lot about how technology is helping the business, and whether we are trusting technology or not is something which time will tell us, actually. I completely agree. In fact, I think if automation comes, in fact, if automated vehicle will come in Delhi, I will definitely go and try for it.
You will be challaned for it.
But I think long back, while we started having the discussions around technology, right, almost 6-7 years ago, we never thought that we'll able to actually look forward towards the technology from the finance standpoint. Right? I am from the e-commerce background, and while this e-commerce start evolving sometime in 2013-14, when we started buying these goods and start shopping online, I also used to be very scared about कि मुझे नहीं shop करना, though I work with an e-commerce company, right? And sitting in finance, thinking about that, how can I actually leverage entirely on technology कि ये जो मुझे input output देगा वो बराबर देगा नहीं देगा, right? मेरी end of the day में जो मेरे को balance sheet match करनी है वो होगी ही नहीं होगी, right? In fact, while we work in an e-commerce, and I'll give you a live example about robotics. So in the e-commerce, while I was working in a marketplace company, there were different 20, 30 different source application systems. We used to interact a lot with the customers, courier parties, sellers, thousands of sellers and all. We used to capture the data and we used to push that data to the ERPs, and our big teams, large teams used to keep on reconciling those numbers. सारे दिन लगे रहते थे reconcile करने में, and after 15 days we used to get, in fact T+15 का gap चलता था. And it was a time while we were not leveraging technology, we were not believing in technology. But the day we start realizing that yes, technology is something which will do really the wonders one day. And we started experimenting the things within the finance also, and start focusing on RPAs of the world. In fact, the data which got pushed from my source application systems to my ERP, things got changed over the night. In fact, the team who used to work a lot for all these things, and I always have lot of questions and concerns about the data accuracy, completeness, and all the financial statement assertions we talk about, that got solved. So I think technology is definitely doing wonders. Trust is definitely a thing, but I think कहीं ना कहीं हमें आज की डेट में कॉल लेना पड़ेगा that are we really looking to take a bet on it or not?
Thanks, Anurag. I think we've already took a lot of time. I think just to sum up, you've seen the experience of all the big CFOs sitting here, and what Anurag is talking about, Unicommerce or e-commerce, and Mandeep is talking about his own experiences, Karishma and Sachin. I think that is a quality of coming in here to understand, to learn from their experience, RPA, technology, AI, where AI can help, where AI cannot. So I think that is the purpose of this session. I hope we'll be able to give you that message that it's not far, it's not here. So we have to bring our journey towards that where we reach first on there, and that is the quality of India, quality of our expertise, and quality of our speed to the technology. And I hope we'll be able to be there very soon. So I think just to sum up here, we wanted to take your questions, but I think the time has already been up. So if anybody has any questions, all the panelists will be here during lunchtime as well.